So, um, have you ever felt that modern dilemma where you're absolutely swamped with information, but somehow those truly clear, actionable insights are still elusive?
Oh, definitely.
It's like we're constantly bombarded with data and news, right?
Hmm.
Yet we're still searching for that shortcut to understanding how successful people actually navigate these really unpredictable challenges and, come out on top.
Yeah, and that's precisely why we're here today. Welcome to the deep dive, where we're plunging headfirst into the fascinating world of strategic thinking.
Yeah.
And let's be clear up front. This isn't your typical boardroom discussion about rigid, linear strategic planning. Not at all.
No.
We're exploring something far more profound, how the sharpest minds learn to think strategically in our messy, uncertain, and just incredibly dynamic world.
And our compass for this journey is Julia Sloan's truly insightful book, Learning to Think Strategically.
It's a fantastic resource.
What makes this book such a goldmine, I think, is how it distills findings from successful executives across really diverse cultures, revealing their often unconventional and surprisingly informal learning journeys. It really challenges what we thought we knew about strategy.
Absolutely. So over the next while, we're going to unpack what strategic thinking really is, trace its, well, sometimes unexpected historical roots.
Right.
We'll explore the often hidden ways people actually learn this skill informally, identify the surprising universal attributes of successful strategists.
Universal, that's key.
Yes, and then equip you with some truly unconventional methods to cultivate this vital capability in your own life. It's a deep dive into not just what strategic thinking is, but how you can truly master it.
You know, we all hear the term strategic thinking thrown around constantly. It's become such a buzzword, hasn't it?
It really has.
Often overused and frankly underdefined. But Sloan's work really strips away that veneer, showing us it's something fundamentally different and arguably far more vital than just a plan on paper.
Exactly. It's distinctly separate from strategic planning and implementation, which are often what people mistakenly mean when they say strategy.
Okay, so nail it down for us. What is it at its core?
Well, strategic thinking, fundamentally, is what Sloan defines as an advanced conceptual cognitive capability.
Conceptual, right?
It's inherently nonlinear, meaning it doesn't follow a straight line. It's divergent, exploring many paths, not just the obvious one. It's irrational, which isn't irrational, let's be clear.
Important distinction.
Yes, it means it moves beyond strict logic, often relying on intuition and creative leaps of insight. And it's largely informal. It's definitely not about following some step-by-step manual.
And it's driven by a very specific cognitive cluster you mentioned, like a mental toolkit.
Precisely. A toolkit uniquely designed for complexity. It's conceptual, seeing the big picture, divergent, exploring possibilities, irrational, embracing that intuitive leap, generative, creating new solutions, nonlinear, jumping around, connecting dots unexpectedly, metaphoric, making seemingly unrelated connections, panoramic, that wide-angle, holistic view.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. Plus, polarity, understanding opposing forces, symbolic, grasping deeper meanings, intuitive, that immediate recognition, and profoundly creative. And crucially, it always includes critical reflective processes.
It sounds like a completely different set of mental muscles than what you'd use for, say, detailed strategic planning.
It really is. Julia Sloan brings this to life with her Sloan triad model of strategy. Picture 3 interconnected domains: strategic thinking, strategic planning, and strategic implementation.
Thinking, planning, implementation. Got it.
While implementation is the ultimate aim, right? Strategic thinking is the messy, iterative, unpredictable process of exploring possibilities. It's about suspending problem solving sometimes to diverge, to deep dive into the very core of an issue before you even begin to plan.
So it's not linear at all.
Not at all. It's dynamic, not a fixed formula. It's more like a creative journey, really, than a blueprint.
That distinction makes so much sense when you think about it. And speaking of journeys, let's take a quick spin back in time, see how our very idea of strategy evolved. Because it goes way back, doesn't it?
It really does. Back in ancient Western civilization, the Greeks had a truly unique view. They saw strategy subjectively.
Subjectively, how so?
Well, knowledge wasn't about detached observation for them. It was found in their relationship with things. They actually embraced paradox and contradiction, chaos, and cosmos as natural parts of existence.
Which is such a stark contrast to how we often view things today, right? Where we try to control and eliminate all chaos.
Absolutely. Then came a significant shift, maybe 17th to 19th centuries, heavily influenced by engineering, like Vauban's systematic methods for warfare.
Ah, the fortifications guy.
That's him, and the growth of large armies that needed order. The Industrial Revolution further cemented this. Strategy began to be seen as orderly administration, control, efficiency.
Like a machine.
Exactly, reflecting a very machine-like approach to problem solving. It was all about repeatable processes and predictable outcomes.
And then fast forward to the 20th century corporate world.
And strategy became deeply aligned with this scientific, technical, rational mindset. This is when you see the emergence of business schools like Wharton in 1881, Harvard 1908.
Promoting strategic training.
Explicitly promoting strategic training based on these principles. Very top-down design and analysis.
And this led to that ongoing debate, right? The design school versus the emergent viewpoint.
Yes, that still resonates today. On one side, you had the design school, influenced by figures like Ansoff and Porter, viewing strategy as rational, objective, design from the top.
The classic model.
The classic model. But then the emergent viewpoint, championed by Henry Mintzberg, argued that strategy often emerges organically.
From the bottom up, almost.
From day-to-day decisions, experimentation, informal interactions within an organization, often completely outside any formal plans. Mintzberg even argued that strategic planning is often just analysis, while strategic thinking is something much more intuitive and creative.
Okay, and then things got even more complex, literally.
Right. More recently, complexity theory and chaos theory came into play. They view organizations not as machines, but as complex adaptive systems.
Yes, yeah.
From this perspective, forecasting the future is often impossible, making rigid, long-term planning seem almost futile.
Which suggests strategy should emerge naturally and adaptability is key.
Exactly. But here's a crucial point Sloan highlights. While this insight can be liberating, chaos theory can also lead to an almost fatalistic view.
Fatalistic. How so?
Well, this fatalistic trap Sloan spotlights is critical. If you believe the world is truly unpredictable, you might just give up on deep thinking altogether.
Ah, analysis paralysis or just minor tweaks?
Precisely, leading to endless analysis paralysis or just tweaking existing strategies that are fundamentally flawed. It's a subtle but dangerous form of avoidance that prevents true strategic innovation and the willingness to explore entirely new possibilities.
So that brings us to the real secret sauce then. How do successful strategists actually learn? Because the unexpected truth, according to Sloan's research, is that they overwhelmingly learn through informal means.
Right. It flies in the face of all the formal courses.
It really does. I mean, we pour so much into formal training. What is that key difference in how informal learning actually works, and why is it so much more effective for strategic thinking?
It's a fantastic question because it challenges so much of our traditional thinking. Informal learning is largely unstructured, experiential, and often tacit.
Tacit meaning?
Meaning it's knowledge we acquire without conscious effort, like riding a bike. You just know how. It happens constantly. Identifying and solving problems, observing others, asking questions, seeking advice, even just listening to stories or browsing online.
Versus formal learning,
Which is structured, institutional, and typically focuses on how-to models or explicit knowledge. For strategic thinking, which is about navigating the unknown, the messy stuff, that informal experiential pathway is just far more powerful.
And Sloan takes it a step further, differentiating informal learning into intentional and incidental.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Intentional is what we expect to learn,
Yeah.
right? Like mastering a new currency formula. But incidental learning, that's the cool part. It's a byproduct of other activities.
Like learning on the job, but not the official part of the job.
Exactly. For instance, a Hong Kong technology executive shared that while he was intentionally gathering legal data, he incidentally learned not to trust certain data sources or analysts because he'd been burned by them before.
The hidden curriculum of experience.
That's a great way to put it.
And Sloan's research reveals this compelling three-stage model of how this informal learning happens. Stage 1 is preparation, which has both an affective and a cognitive component. The affective part is often a strong emotional drive. It could be a must-win attitude or even a healthy fear of failure or simply a deep desire to get things right.
That internal fire.
Yes. This passion fuels the cognitive component. gathering information, often from truly unconventional sources. Imagine talking to fellow airline passengers about their industry.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Or listening to university students' fresh perspectives, or just having unscripted coffee shop conversations with people far outside your usual circle. That's how information is gathered for strategic insight.
That's fascinating. Okay, stage 2.
Stage 2 is experience. Here, strategists test new, novel situations against both current and prior successful life experiences.
Using their own history as a guide.
Exactly. And the examples from Sloan's interviews are incredibly vivid and personal. An American financial executive using his background in farming as his core strategic model for growth.
Farming, wow.
A Japanese CFO who refers to painting as his analogy for complex problem solving, and another Japanese executive who learned deep strategic lessons from auto racing.
So these deeply personal, successful experiences become their unique wellspring of tacit knowledge.
Precisely. That deeply embedded knowing that guides their decisions.
And the final stage.
And finally, stage 3 is reevaluation, where critical reflection is key. This isn't just hindsight looking back and saying, oh, well.
It's more active.
Much more active. It's about looking back to make meaning and generate truly actionable knowledge. This critical reflection can be about the content, what actually happened, the process, how did we approach it, and how could we have done it differently?
Okay.
Or, most deeply, the premise. Why did we believe what we believed in the first place, and what assumptions did we fail to challenge? It's about continuously learning from your own journey.
And here's the truly liberating insight, I think. Strategic thinking isn't some rare gift given only to a chosen few.
No, not at all.
Sloan's research found it relies on 5 universal human capabilities that are already within us, waiting to be honed through discipline and practice.
Which means anyone can develop this vital skill, not just those at the top.
It shatters the myth of the born strategist, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Let's unpack these universal capabilities. First, vivid imagination. This isn't just about daydreaming. It actively generates curiosity and creativity, allowing strategists to imagine what else or how else things could be.
Like seeing possibilities others miss.
Exactly. As one Polish executive eloquently put it, imagination is the jewel nobody expects in the pauper's attic.
I love that. What's second?
Second is a broad perspective. This is the literal ability to see the strategic problem from a panoramic bird's eye view and to draw on a vast diversity of frames and viewpoints.
The big picture.
The really big picture. Sloan uses that great analogy of the hot air balloon pilot in her research who ascends to the highest point to find the wind and assess the whole landscape.
And that often involves talking to others, right?
Yes, it often involves critical dialogue with a wide range of diverse people, bringing in fresh perspectives you wouldn't get alone.
Okay, third attribute.
Third, the remarkable ability to juggle. This is the capacity to comprehend many things at once, dealing with incomplete, inconsistent, and often contradictory information without getting totally overwhelmed.
Holding multiple ideas at once.
Yes, the Polish CEO described it so vividly as carrying hot potatoes. You have to keep them moving, acknowledge their heat, and find a way to manage them simultaneously.
That's a great image. Fourth.
Fourth, and this is kind of counterintuitive, dealing with things you cannot control.
Instead of fighting them.
Exactly. Successful strategists don't fight against the uncontrollable. They focus on precisely what they cannot control. This helps them identify where real risk lies and adapt to unpredictable obstacles.
Like the ceramicist example.
Perfect example. The Danish ceramicist's experience with the physical properties of clay, which he cannot control but must work with, serves as a powerful metaphor. Fear and risk in this context become potent motivators for adaptability.
Okay, and the fifth attribute.
And finally, the fifth attribute, a fierce desire to win.
The driving force.
This isn't just about crushing the competition. It's an internal passion and conviction that fuels all strategic change. It's that relentless drive to be ahead, to continuously test, and often to completely recreate strategy, even when it's painful or seems impossible.
That's the engine.
It's the engine that propels them forward.
And that fierce desire to win really sounds like the fuel for all this strategic change. So with those attributes in mind, how do we actually start cultivating this kind of thinking ourselves? What are the practical tools, the unconventional methods, maybe, to spark this strategic thought?
Well, one incredibly powerful tool is metaphor and analogy.
Like the farming or painting example?
Exactly. Using metaphors helps you shift your thinking, making complex issues more relatable, memorable, and it can even diffuse tension in strategic discussions.
How so?
Imagine describing a strategic problem to your team as pushing a giant, very heavy boulder up a hill. Feels impossible, right?
Yeah, daunting.
Now, what if you transform that imagery into dancing with the problem? That shift in imagery alone can change the entire dynamic of how you approach it. Makes it feel more adaptable, maybe even enjoyable.
Interesting. What else?
And here's another surprising yet profoundly effective tool. The sheer power of simply drawing.
Drawing.
Oh.
Like with crayons.
Well, maybe not crayons, but putting pen to paper activates different brain functions, fostering what Sloan calls a hand-mind dialogue.
Hand-mind dialogue. I like that.
It helps visualize hidden details, patterns, and limitations that words alone might miss. We heard about Arjun, a tech CEO who would sketch his problems on whiteboards.
And people laughed at first.
They did, but it helped him clearly see constraints and invited entirely new perspectives from his team because they could see the problem differently.
Visual thinking. Okay. What else?
Then there's lateral thinking, Edward de Bono's concept.
Ah, de Bono. Thinking outside the box.
Exactly, but it's more structured than just thinking outside the box. It's a nonlinear, irrational method specifically designed for changing established patterns, generating completely new possibilities, and restructuring existing frameworks rather than just developing current ones.
And a key part is?
A crucial part of this is actively withholding judgment as you explore, allowing truly novel ideas to surface without shooting them down immediately.
Right. Give ideas space to breathe.
Precisely. And these methods complement other dynamic approaches like action learning and agility learning.
Briefly, what are those?
Action learning involves experimenting in real time and using those critical reflective processes we talked about earlier. Learning by doing and reflecting.
Okay.
Agility learning, characterized by mental, people, change, and results agility, helps you respond rapidly and effectively to unexpected events, essentially turning obstacles into opportunities rather than roadblocks.
It's about bouncing back or even bouncing forward.
Exactly. So if you want to deepen your strategic thinking, you absolutely must embrace the power of A&D. This isn't just about casual discussion or competitive debate. It's about critical dialogue and inquiry.
Going beyond just talking at each other.
Yes. The core purpose here is to deliberately diverge thinking, expand possibilities, and expose underlying assumptions that might be limiting your view. It requires sincere listening, honest speaking, and deep critical reflection from everyone involved.
And this leads us to the crucial data dialogue cycle.
Yeah.
It's not just about the data itself.
No. While gathering good data is important, critical dialogue is what actually allows new meaning to be extrapolated from that data. It's not about gathering more data for the sake of it, but about having good data to inform truly meaningful, exploratory dialogue.
It's the synergy between them.
It is. And Sloan introduces what she calls the 7 strategic thinking dimensions as a comprehensive framework for this kind of strategic dialogue.
Okay, what are they, briefly?
They are finance, risk, process systems, people, leadership, knowledge, and values culture.
A holistic view.
Very much so. By intentionally bringing these dimensions into your conversations, you encourage critical reflection, proactively highlight potential risks, and reveal incongruence or hidden assumptions much earlier in the process. It's a way to ensure you're looking at the whole picture.
And this raises an important point. Why are these messy conversations so valuable? Because strategic thinking is a messy process, right?
It absolutely is. Seeking out critical dialogue with truly diverse individuals, colleagues, other professionals, even strangers you meet in a coffee shop, like we mentioned.
That unconventional information gathering.
Yes. It fundamentally broadens your perspectives and actively stimulates your imagination in ways solitary thinking simply cannot.
And this critical dialogue isn't just external, is it?
Good point. It extends to self-inquiry. It involves an internal process of questioning yourself, challenging your own habitual responses, and digging into your deeply held assumptions that might unconsciously be limiting your strategic vision.
Asking yourself the tough questions.
Exactly.
You know, one of the most common excuses you hear for a lack of strategic thinkers in an organization is culture. People say, oh, our culture just doesn't support it.
Right, the culture excuse.
But Sloan completely busts this myth, doesn't she?
She really does. While socio-national culture does shape our frames and communication styles, like how directly or indirectly we question things or how we navigate hierarchy.
Sure, those things matter.
They matter, but the underlying informal learning process and those 5 essential attributes we discussed, they are universal human capabilities.
That's a huge, empowering takeaway, isn't it? The human capacity for critical reflection is limitless.
allowing individuals to learn to shatter and reframe their beliefs regardless of their cultural background. It's an inherent, adaptable human capability, not something limited by your environment.
We see this so powerfully in the real-world examples from the source. Tell us about Juni.
Juni, the Japanese executive, he found incredibly nuanced ways to practice critical inquiry without attacking colleagues, navigating cultural norms of politeness and indirectness. He adapted his approach to get to the truth, showing it can be done.
And the Chinese global head of manufacturing.
Another great example, he described feeling blacked out from other possibilities, kind of stuck in one way of thinking, until he was given permission and a guide to actively seek new perspectives. He felt this profound, liberating sense of freedom and possibility.
So it's about permission and modeling, perhaps.
Absolutely. The lesson here is that while fear of challenging norms, losing face, or navigating political legacies can certainly complicate information sharing, a leader's modeling of curiosity and providing explicit permission can fundamentally foster a culture of strategic inquiry, regardless of the cultural context.
Okay, so if we're not blaming culture, let's talk about another balancing act. Analysis versus intuition. How do we handle that? Because executives often lean too heavily one way or the other.
Yeah, that's a critical point. Sloan argues it's not an either situation at all, it's a profound both hand.
Okay.
True strategic thinking requires a skillful, continuous integration of both data analysis and intuition.
So tell us about intuition's power here. It's not just guesswork, right?
Not at all. It's often misunderstood. It's really recognition-primed decision-making based on vast amounts of accumulated experience and that deeply embedded tacit knowledge we talked about.
Like pattern recognition.
Exactly. Think of Anton, the trader, from the source material. He could filter immense quantities of data and just know his decisions in minutes, seeming almost supernatural to his colleagues.
Right, he wasn't psychic.
No, he trusted his refined judgment, built on years of experience, and rarely lost.
But intuition needs a check, right?
Yeah.
It can be wrong.
Absolutely. The story of Luisa Perez, a country manager, is a prime example of this. She had a strong gut feeling about a problem, but she ignored it in favor of more analysis, more data, only to find the core issue wasn't about marketing jingles at all, which is what the data pointed to, but the ease of tampering with competitor products.
Her intuition, that quiet alarm bell, was right all along.
It was right. So the dynamic is crucial. Intuition should direct analysis, and analysis should verify intuition.
A feedback loop.
A constant feedback loop. Intuition quickly recognizes situations and suggests reactions or potential red flags, while analysis then meticulously verifies those intuitions to prevent misleading judgments. This continuous, agile interplay is absolutely vital in complex, uncertain environments where you don't have all the answers up front.
So for you, the listener, maybe the starting point is just attuning to your inner red flags.
Yes, those quiet alarm bells that signal something unusual or off, just like Nicholas, the COO, who instinctively dismissed a desolate Romanian region as a plant location.
Even if some data looked good.
Even if some numbers looked okay on the surface. He knew the high unemployment and low education levels meant it would likely lead to disaster. He trusted his deeper, integrated understanding, his intuition informed by experience.
Okay, that was a whirlwind tour. But what a journey we've been on. We've taken a really deep dive into strategic thinking.
We really have.
Peeling back the layers to reveal it as this dynamic, informal, and iterative journey. It's about consciously engaging a unique set of cognitive capabilities, embracing paradox, and continuously learning from experience.
It's about integrating ancient wisdom with modern challenges and skillfully weaving together both analysis and intuition as complementary tools. This deep dive wasn't just about presenting facts. It was about giving you surprising insights and profoundly practical approaches to cultivate this vital skill in your own professional and personal life.
So what does this all mean for you as you navigate your own complex world? If truly successful strategic thinking isn't about finding the single right answer, which is often impossible anyway,
Right.
but about asking the right questions and being willing to completely reframe everything you thought you knew, how might you approach your next big challenge differently?
Yeah, that's the real question. We encourage you to consider experimenting with just one unconventional method we discussed today.
Just one to start.
Just one. Perhaps try drawing your current strategic problem. See what emerges. Or maybe craft a metaphor for your next big dilemma. See how intentionally playing with the impossible, or at least the uncomfortable, can unlock possibilities you never even imagined.